Thank you, Senator Booker. Thank you, Chairman Flake. And thank you, Ambassador Sullivan. It is great to have an opportunity to talk with you and to the next panel about the transition underway in Zimbabwe and what the future might hold. As Senator Flake referenced, we met with former President Mnangagwa in February 2016, and like many, I was very pleased to see him go after 37 brutal years. But I think it's critical that the people of Zimbabwe not see one dictator replaced by another. And so I, for one, am reluctant to see us take any steps to lighten or relieve sanctions or other international restrictions on loans or partnership until we see, as you suggested in your testimony, concrete steps by the administration of Emerson and Mnangagwa and any successors. So walk me through three things, if you would. What are the key milestones for us to watch for to get a sense of Emerson Mnangagwa's capacity and willingness to enter significant reforms?
Thank you, Senator. As far as governance goes and respect for human rights, we would like to see immediate implementation of freedom of expression that has been lacking for decades in Zimbabwe, freedom of assembly. We are looking also for a free and responsible media, including social media, the preparations for the elections, as I mentioned, anti-corruption. I believe they've given a 90-day window for people to return ill-gotten gains as an amnesty. Will that happen? Will corruption be pursued in an impartial way, in an apolitical way? How will things progress in terms of rule of law and due process? Those are on the governance side. On the economic side, the country is crumbling under crushing debt. We also have a very low doing business environment there that is a deterrent. So we'd like to see an improved investment climate. Since investors vote with their feet, they are watching very closely because there are potential opportunities there. But investors want to be able to repatriate their earnings. Right. And again, the rule of law and a level playing field will be very important in the economic sphere as well. In addition, in the security sector, we would like to see the security sector earn the trust of the citizens, and that would include police reforms.
I was struck that the budget request for this year for Zimbabwe, if I understood correctly, dropped almost $60 million from the previous year and included no request for democracy and governance programs. It's my expectation that there might be some reprogramming request or some increased willingness to partner with the robust civil society and free press that you referenced. What sort of role do you imagine that USAID and the State Department should play in the run-up to free and fair elections if we are genuinely making progress?
All of our influence is not necessarily tied up with the dollar figure, but to address that point, we do have some flexibility with some regional funds that we could target if we saw an opportunity that looked viable there. I think that our diplomats have a wonderful opportunity to use the bully pulpit to coordinate with like-minded international partners and also to continue engaging with civil society organizations with whom we may not be currently giving assistance, but with whom we've cultivated relationships over the years. Because fundamentally, this will be about the people of Zimbabwe, and we want to support their aspirations for a country that can reach its full potential.
Last question. So China has long had an active role in Zimbabwe during the liberation struggle and to now. What do you see as their influence in Zimbabwe compared to the United States? What do you see as their trajectory in Zimbabwe? And what do you think are their interests or their priorities compared to ours? I agree with you that this is essentially up to the people of Zimbabwe, and the actions that will determine their future will be taken by Zimbabweans. But it seems to me that this is a moment for the United States to show principled leadership, active engagement and interest. But I'm wondering what another major influencer in this country has in mind for their short-term agenda as well.
Well, as throughout the continent, China is very interested in resource acquisition and in their interactions with the various host governments. have taken a very hands-off approach in terms of what they might consider undue influence or foreign interference. So we don't expect there will be any change in terms of China's approach, but I think we have a window for the U.S. to engage in a way we haven't been able to engage that will involve U.S. businesses, which of course are private, and we can't compel them to engage the way others perhaps have an opportunity with the state-owned enterprises to engage.
Well, thank you, Ambassador Sullivan. Thank you, Chairman Flake. I think you'll see significant and sustained interest from members of this subcommittee and other committees of the Congress as we try and encourage and support a movement towards a genuinely open and democratic society in Zimbabwe.